Who the heck is that dirty factory man you have there? Don't you dare tell me that man is your fiancé of all people?
What? What are you talking about right now, Margot? By the way, it's getting pretty late now. When are you guys supposed to be arriving at the house again? I told you that I'd be having my fiancé over for you all to meet finally, right? Don't you feel a little bit bad about being this late on such an important day to me?
Shut up and answer the question I just asked you. I saw you looking really close to a man wearing dirty overalls as you both talked to one another. Don't you tell me that that man is the man you plan on marrying someday.
Huh? Wait, does that mean that you just came around the house a second ago? If you were already near here, you should have came up to us.
You think I'd want to let you guys know I was around? I knew it. That man is your fiancé, isn't he? I am not okay with that. If you go marrying some dirty old factory worker, then that embarrassment is going to spread to me and I'll have to be ashamed of you.
Wait, what the hell? Sure, just a second ago he was in overalls, but he doesn't work at any factories.
What? Are you telling me he's some kind of a freelancer or a contractor then? The kind of people that go hopping from one kind of job to another without a care in the world about how much they're paid? Ugh, this cannot be happening. There is no way in hell this can be happening.
Why would you think something like that? Margot, would you please take some breaths and calm down for me? My fiancé isn't a contractor or a freelancer, really. He just happens to have a lot of different things that he's interested in. So, at times, he may seem to know a lot more about some odd things than others. But he'd never get my hand in marriage if he was still hopping from job to job.
No way. Are you sure you're not being used by him right now? I always knew ever since you were a little girl, you were pretty absent-minded about a lot of things. You have to be getting lied to by that man, right? You stop trying to make up excuses for that man and open your eyes.
Would you listen to me? Why do you keep jumping to so many conclusions right now about him? I'm telling you right now that you have everything all wrong. By the way, he came back home a little while ago now. So does that mean you've just been sitting outside my house just watching us?
I had to be sure you weren't being fooled. And the same goes for myself, considering that I'm the wife of a man that relies very much on the image he has in other people's mind. If I had to find out that there was something seriously wrong with your fiancé and you got married to him, then people would start to relate him to my husband, and he'd lose a lot of those people's trust. In other words, if you bring some kind of crazy man into the family, I'll be the one in trouble.
Margot, you've always had some issues from the start, especially that one right there. I thought that when you became an adult, you'd change mentally just a tad bit. But even now, when I'm as old as I am, you are still trying to control my life instead of just worrying about your own.
How about you lay off me and think about your filthy fiancé? I am not the one trying to control you here or anything. But when you think about a pair of scissors, people tend to compare the two of them a lot. And if people start to think I'm not being a good older sister to you, that will change how the world views this family. And that is why I don't need you judging what I'm doing here, as I know that I'm doing the right thing and won't change to cater to you.
You've always been making yourself look like the good guy all this time. But could you stop trying to control my life for once and let me have the future that I've always wanted with the people I love?
I'm not trying to control your life, Alice. I'm just saying these things about you and your fiancé for your sake, right? And if you don't marry a man that can pull in a decent amount of money for you, you're going to have a very rough future with him, and that worries me. If you don't have the money you need, you guys won't be able to support having any kids either, right?
And I very much understand that, Margot. But if this is just you trying to control my life like you've always been doing by speaking out against my actions, then you're wasting your time. I'm not gonna listen to what you have to say about the man I've chosen, and I will get married to him no matter what.
Wow, so you really want to rebel against me then, huh? You must have forgotten about all of those times I've helped you out when you were getting yourself into trouble. I really do hate kids like you.
I'm not a kid anymore, though. I've become an adult, and I like to think I'm a pretty good one at that. I have a job that I've been working diligently for some time now, so it seems like the only one who's still treating me like a child these days is you, and you seem to still not be able to trust me and my choices. If that weren't the case, then you wouldn't have been sitting outside my house for hours now watching me.
But look here, this is the reality of your situation. When I wasn't looking closely at you, you started to go out with some contractor. And now you're acting like you can marry him no matter what I have to say about it. I get that you aren't a kid anymore, Alice, but look! I don't have any gifts to give to a poor couple that want to waste away in hell after getting married.
I told you to stop labeling my fiancé as some kind of a moneyless man. Also, you need to stop acting like you're only thinking about me here, because you aren't. You always say that when in reality the only person you're thinking about is yourself.
What are you talking about?
In the past, you would have never forgave me whenever I stood out over you, right? Whenever I ended up getting really good scores in school, you'd take my report card and tear it up before Mom and Dad got home to see it. And whenever I got any bad scores, you'd take my report card and run home with it to show them right away. I know about all those things you've been doing to me and why you were doing them.
Oh, things like that did happen, didn't they? I mean, seeing you get all excited over having some alright scores in school really ticked me off a lot. Especially when it wasn't even like you were studying anything that difficult in school all those years. Also, did I ever say you could get better scores than your older sister in school?
What you're saying to me right now is completely screwed up. You never wanted me to end up some kind of failure because I'd make you look bad. Yet me turning out better than you somewhere would piss you off and make you lash out against me. I knew something like that was the case with you back then. And recently, after having put a bit more thought into what really happened back then, I've really figured it all out.
Is that right? Then tell me, why are you still willing to introduce your fiancé to me? Just go ahead and get married without ever telling me. You hate my guts right now, don't you?
What I thought about you back then and what I think about you now are two completely different things. I assume that since we're both adults now, we changed a bit for the better. Yet, as I should have expected, you haven't changed one bit since the last time I met you.
I'm an adult now, so what I thought in the past is now set in stone and cannot be changed. So, you really think I was ever going to change?
I see. I guess I made a big mistake putting that small bit of hope into you that you'd be able to grow up and move on.
The thing is, all you had to do was find yourself a simple company man, and I wouldn't have to say a thing about you getting married someday, right? I mean, look at me. I'm married to a super elite business owner, right? I thought you could have at least got yourself someone smart that works in an office building. Yet, there you are, wanting to marry the most lowlife of all the lowlives. I never thought you'd be capable of doing such a piss-poor job as my little sister, but now you're just purposely trying to ruin my husband's and mine image. So, could you please lay off?
Why would you ever say something like that about my fiancé and I? I get that you hate to see me standing out more than yourself because it takes everyone's eyes off of you, but I'm not gonna sit here listening to you belittle me and asking me to marry someone else that would make me unhappy. You really only want to think about yourself and not another soul still.
That's not true at all, Alice. I'm thinking about you right now, and know that you not marrying that filthy man will make not only you happy, but me happy as well. And that is why I'm telling you what to do with him and your life right now, right?
In other words, what you're saying is that even if my fiancé happened to be even more amazing than you or your husband, you'd still look down on him in an attempt to make me stand out less?
Well, the first problem you have there is that you'd never find a man that's better than my husband or I. But if that really was the case, then I'd have to make sure to come to your wedding and ruin it for the both of you. I mean, what you're saying is that you have a man that's better than the one I found and tied the knot to, right? Something like that is not something I can allow to happen as your older sister.
Is that so? Then I guess you don't have to bother with us. Just come to the wedding. But besides that, you don't have to meet my fiancé or become close to either one of us anymore.
Oh, come on. Even if I were to come and meet with him right now, I don't think that he and I could hold a proper conversation. I'd have to keep putting him down for being such a dirty factory worker, and that might send him home crying, right?
Yeah, I can see that now. I'm sorry, Dad. It doesn't seem like I'll be able to get close to Margot after all. I've made sure to invite her husband and her to my wedding still, but you might have to forget about her being my best woman, because that sure is not going to happen with her.
Is that right? That is some very upsetting news. But you did give it your best effort talking with her, right? As long as you were able to do something like that. I know you tried everything you could with the woman.
Thank you, Dad.
But I really want to know why at her age, Margot is still trying so hard to take a stand against you and the man you're planning to marry. She was saying that it had to do with her husband's image. But why would that be affected by you guys? It shouldn't be. So there shouldn't be a reason for her to be acting like such a child still.
I know, that's what I was thinking to myself as well then. But when it comes to her, she has all kinds of reasons for wanting to tear me down and always be on top. She had always hated losing ever since I was old enough to start accomplishing things, right? Which has turned her into the type of woman who thrives off of being the one standing out.
And I've known something like that would happen with her the moment she'd even listen to me when I tried to discipline her for that behavior. But to think she'd still have that exact same childish attitude at her age now.
Wait, so you tried to punish her for acting like that?
Well, of course I tried, Alice. First time she started doing those things to you, I thought she was just kidding. But as you guys got into elementary school, I could just tell that she was giving you a really tough time behind your mother's and my back. And so, your mother and I had plenty of talks about it.
What? Is that right?
Look, do you remember this? When Margot had first started to tear up all about your great report cards, she'd get all mad about it and make it seem like you were trying to steal the spotlight from her. But since then, your mother and I would do what we could to settle her down, as we knew you were doing well in school.
Right. I guess I could see that you guys were having some talks with her, but I just assumed she stopped getting so upset with me because she grew bored or something.
That's not at all what it was. That first time she'd gone and ripped up your grades, she came to us and started yelling about how you did it because you had all bad scores. But your mother and I already knew that it was her who done it, and so we let her know that. That then led to her shutting up about it and walking off in defeat.
That makes some sense. Because at one point she would just pout about me having good scores, but would never go to both of you tearing up my report card.
And that's because your mother and I intervened. But I am sorry for what had happened then. You were always so kind and reserved as a kid, yet you had to always deal with a horrible sister like her. And after she had gotten married to that man and left our house, your mother and I kind of forgot to keep her on our radar.
It's fine, Dad. It's been a while now for me since the last time she'd gotten that way with me. And because of her getting out of the house first, I had a lot of stress lifted off my shoulders, and have been pretty relaxed up until yesterday.
I'm glad to hear that. But Alice, I really am sorry for everything. I'm sure she's turned out the way she is now because your mother and I weren't tough enough on her about it.
No worries. Right now, I'm just trying to leave all of that be. as I've been doing for the past couple of years, thinking that maybe she changed. Although that doesn't seem to be the case at all, even though she's married now and is an adult herself.
I felt that same way after what happened between you both. But the fact that you are still willing to call her your older sister after all that's happened between you two goes to show you really are the best little girl your mother and I have ever had.
I see. Thank you for saying that, Dad. Hearing that from you really helps. Margot? Where are you at right now? The wedding is just about to begin here.
Oh, well, about that wedding of yours. Something just came up for me, so I'm no longer going to be heading to your wedding today.
What? But the wedding, it's about to start in 10 minutes, and you should have already been on your way out here, right?
Hey! You're joking with me, right? I'm not going to accept that you're actually getting married to some kind of a low-life contractor like him. And considering that I'm never in the mood to celebrate the poor getting married, I'm not gonna be there. So how about you leave me alone now and stop trying to embarrass me more than you already have?
Oh, I see. So that's really what you're wanting to do today? If that's how things are going to continue to be between you and I, then the family and I are cutting ties to you now.
Who do you think you are saying that to me? I'm going to be the one cutting ties to you with all of the family. You really think that either Mom or Dad would even want you getting married to a dirty contractor like that today?
Then make sure you do not come here at all today.
Your marriage is even embarrassing to my husband, so I made sure not to tell him a thing about the wedding today. Guess his and my seats will be left empty today. And the same goes for the rest of the family seats, so enjoy having your empty wedding, you loser!
But your husband is here with us right now.
What? No, wait, what the hell are you talking about? There's no way in hell that could be the case right now.
Then why is he standing near me all frustrated right now? I'm telling you, that's your husband, and I know because he's upset about you.
Huh? I have no idea what you're going on about right now. My husband left on a business trip yesterday, and I never ever talked with him about you having a wedding today, or at all for that matter.
That business trip he went on was true, and that's why he told me that he came here directly from that trip after he'd finished up with the meeting yesterday. I feel bad for him though, because he'll have to head back today for some more meetings.
What? So you're saying that my husband really is with you guys right now? Why would he be there of all places right now, though?
I can tell you more about that in detail after my wedding is over and I'm back home. I want you to just enjoy your day today, doing whatever you got caught up in instead of coming out to be with the rest of us.
I haven't been able to get even one response from my husband since I last talked with you. Did my husband really go to your wedding today and view it?
Yeah, he sure did. Today's wedding was the best I've ever seen, I think. I'm sure that has to do in part with it being mine and me having a bias towards it. But thank God you weren't there today to ruin everybody's mood. Had you really came today, I'm sure you would have done everything in your power to completely ruin it for all of us. I feel a whole lot better now not having to worry about that ever happening to me anymore.
What the hell are you talking about? You explain everything to me right now.
That's right. Where would you like me to start this story?
I want you to tell me right now why the hell my husband of all people was at your wedding. Did you get in touch with him behind my back or something? And who do you think you are inviting my husband to be there even though I never showed up?
You were invited to the wedding, though. But you decided to drop out last minute for one simple reason. And that's because you hated the idea of my fiancé and I getting married, right?
But I never once told my husband about the fact that you'd be having your wedding.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like. And that's why when we told him about it, he seemed very shocked. He was wondering why you would never talk to him about something so important as your sister's wedding. And you weren't just not talking to him about it, but actively trying to hide it from him, right?
What?
He asked you a few times about how your little sister would be getting married soon. Yet every time he asked, you just played dumb and never gave him an answer, right? That's what he had told us after we told him about the details for our wedding.
That was, one could say I completely forgot all the details when he'd ask me.
Are you kidding me? You just said a second ago that you were purposefully not telling him. You're making yourself look like a total dumbass now, so would you please stop it with those sad excuses?
Excuse me? What do you think you're saying to your older sister right now? All that happened was my husband going to your wedding by himself, right? I didn't go there because I didn't want to go there is all. That is all. I want to know this now. Why would you guys invite my husband out to your wedding anyway? You guys are making it seem like you've always been close to one another, talking about your weddings like that without going through me.
About that, it was my husband that invited him.
Huh? I really have no idea what you're saying now. Are you telling me that your fiancé at the time had prior relations with my husband of all people? Your lie is looking so shabby right now that you'd better just stop there. There is not a place in this world where a business owner would want to be talking to a contractor.
Well, if you remember all of those times I told you before, you'd know that my husband isn't a contractor. My husband happens to be an investor.
What? How much further do you plan on taking this lie of yours? I literally saw you with your fiancé while he came home wearing overalls from a nasty old factory. If he really were an investor, then why the hell would he be coming home all covered in filth like that?
You just saw him coming back from going to see one of said factories.
Huh? Why would he go out there?
In the past, my husband was working for a factory, actually. And, well, even though he's long past having worked there, he still likes to go out and see other factories because he enjoys the people that work in them and the environment. He likes to think that when it comes to doing things like business, the best thing to do before striking a deal is to go see the facilities in person and talk with the leaders there. That's just the kind of man my husband is and always will be.
Are you seriously saying all of that right now?
Yes, I really am. And that's why when he had a meeting that involved him going out to the old factory he's been working on in the past, he got on his old overalls and went out there to see the new owner.
So then your husband really is an investor? Then that should mean he's not anything special and just calls himself an investor to make himself look good, right?
Not at all. He happens to have a lot to show for now. And that's why he's currently in talks with your husband about his business. The reason he came out to our wedding is because he's working on getting a loan from my husband.
Huh? Are you seriously saying that? So, is that the reason why you guys were talking to my husband without me being involved?
Yep, that's exactly right.
Then why did all three of you do that without ever telling me anything about it? Don't tell me that you and my husband have had something going on behind my back and you're not telling me about it.
Stop that, Margot. You're really trying to make excuses for all of this like a failing politician now. The only man I love is the man I just married. I really have no interest at all in the man you married.
I'm sure that's the case then. My husband would never show any interest in a simple loser like you, now would he?
But the thing is, he shows even less interest in backstabbing assholes like you.
What? What did you just say then?
I'm saying that your husband is no longer interested in a backstabbing prick like you anymore.
Huh? I'm being called the backstabber now? What do you mean by that?
Margot, today you were called to go to another man's house, weren't you? And it seems that you have a very intimate relationship with him. Can you please explain to me what's all going on there?
What did he say? Why the hell do you have me in a chokehold right now over something like that?
Because your husband came and talked to me about it. He's known about the relationship you and I always had with one another in the past, and so when he came to our wedding today, he had a one-on-one talk with me asking for my help. He was wondering why you were hiding the fact that today was my wedding, even though he'd be on a business trip. And that made him start to suspect that you had an ulterior motive made up.
He was telling you all of that? But that's just my husband trying to speak poorly about me after I didn't show up. He's not telling you the truth about me.
Listen, Margot, your husband happens to be a real smart cookie and have very good intuition. When he started to figure that something was going on with you, he hired a detective.
Huh? He hired a detective?
Also, just before leaving on his business trip yesterday, he placed a camera in the house. Which means when you had that man over last night after your husband left, your husband was able to see it all.
What? Are you being serious about that right now? Wait, that was all? There was just a bit of a misunderstanding there. After my husband had left, I became a bit lonely. And, well...
Go and tell that crappy excuse to your husband, please. I don't care to hear anything about all of that, and I don't think for 1 second that your excuses could be true. Because of what all you've done today, the whole family is fed up with you, and we will all be cutting ties to you now. There isn't anybody left around you to be your ally in any of this. And when you're abandoned by your husband, we'll all make sure to laugh at you. After her husband had come back to her later that night, Margot got down on all fours and began to beg him for forgiveness as she apologized to him for what she'd done. However, him being both a very smart and intuitive man, he knew that there was no chance of ever trusting her again after what she'd done, and decided to divorce the backstabber as soon as he could. Having been thrown out by her very own husband, all because she tried to not only tell him about my wedding, but also had an affair with another man, all of the family gave up on her and disowned her, leaving her with no help from anyone as she was hit with a settlement for having cheated on her husband, and she would have no choice but to become homeless. Having finally ended any relationship that was left with such a horrible person as her, I was finally able to free my mind and could focus on the one thing I'd been looking forward to this whole time, and that's starting my new life with my new husband. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.